In this video, I'll walk you through how to install PostgreSQL on an AWS EC2 instance from scratch, connect it using dbeaver or pgadmin, and finally show you how to integrate PostgreSQL with your Spring Boot application. So let's get started.
All right, let's launch a EC2 instance. For that, I have logged in into AWS console. I'll search EC2 here. I'll open the EC2 dashboard. Click on launch instance. Enter the instance name. Let's say my PG. Scroll down. I'll select Amazon Linux as my operating system. Here, I'll select t2.micro as my instance type. Here, I need a key pair login for login into my instance. So I'll click here, create new key pair, provide a name, select the file format as RSA. I'll be using terminal, so I'll be selecting .pem. If you are using PuTTY, then you can select .ppk. Then I'll select create key pair. Our key pair is automatically downloaded and stored in download folder. This will be used in later part of the video. If I scroll down, there are some security groups. So I'll not make change anything here. It will create a new security group that allows SSH traffic from anywhere. Because of this only, we'll be able to connect. I'll scroll down. I'll not make changes in any of the settings below. I'll click on launch instance. Here we can see a launch instance is successful. I'll click on instances. Here I can see the status is running and it is right now checking the status check of my instance. Now let's connect to this instance. For that, I'll select here, click on connect. So there are multiple ways like EC2 instance connect, session manager, and SSH client. I'll be using SSH client. If you want to know how can we connect through EC2 instance connect, you can click on the card and view. I'll click SSH client. I'll copy this SSH command. I'll go to my download folder. Here I can see my key pair is there. I'll right click. I'll open terminal. I'll paste my command, press enter. It is asking for confirmation. I'll type yes, and I have successfully connected to the instance. I can type commands here like pwd and ls to confirm.
All right. Next step is to install Postgres. For that, first we'll update system packages. I'll copy this command in my login terminal. Then I'll install PostgreSQL. I'll copy this sudo yum install PostgreSQL command, paste it here, press enter. Installation is complete. Then I'll initialize the database. For that, I'll copy this command, paste it here, enter. Initialized. Then I'll start and enable the Postgres SQL services. For that, I'll copy this start command, that is sudo systemctl start Postgres SQL. Then I'll enable. For that, I'll copy this command, that is sudo systemctl enable PostgreSQL. It is enabled as well. Next step is switching the user to Postgres. So currently we are a EC2 user. For that, I'll use sudo su Postgres. Now you can see we are a Postgres user. Then I'll type this PSQL command to access PSQL. Now we are inside the terminal of PSQL. So basically, Postgres is the owner, or we can say owner of PSQL. So that's why we have switched the user to Postgres, and now we are inside PSQL terminal. Now we can test by using this command that our PSQL is working fine or not. Right. So basically, when we install Postgres, a Postgres user is automatically created without any password, and a database Postgres is also created. So to view all the database, I can type this command, that is /l. So we can see this Postgres database is there, and there are some inbuilt databases. We can create our own database as well. For if you want to connect to this Postgres database, the command is /c Postgres. You can see we are now connected to database Postgres. Also, to view all the tables in this database, since this is an empty database, we can see the message coming, did not find any relations. Also, now, let's say I want to update the password of Postgres. So this will be needed. So let me update the password. That is alter user Postgres with password root. So I'm setting the password root for user Postgres. We are getting a successful message. We have changed the password or set the password so that we can connect it through external client like pgadmin, dbeaver, or Springboard. Now let's try to connect this database from external client. So for that, I'll be using dbeaver. I've already downloaded and installed it in my system. You can also use pgadmin. Everything will be same. The configurations will be same if you use pgadmin as well. So for that, I'll right click here. I'll click on create connection. I'll select PostgreSQL. Next, here I have to enter the host name. Let me go back to my EC2 instance. This is my host name. I'll copy it from here. I can copy it from here as well, or I can copy it from my instance public DNS as well. So I have to copy the public DNS. I'll copy it in host. Port is 5432. That is fine. The database is Postgres, as we have seen here as well. If I type /d/l to list all the databases, and I want to connect to this Postgres database right now. So I've entered Postgres, the username is Postgres itself, and the password is I've just updated to root. Now I'll click on test connection. So I can see this error, connection attempt timed out. This is because there are some configurations that needs to be done so that I can connect it from outside the AWS. So let's make those changes. For that, the configurations are something like that. First, I have to update this PostgreSQL config to allow incoming connections on all available IP interfaces. So I'll search listen address and I'll update it with star. I'll move back to my console, type exit here to come out of the shell command. Now, if I type ls, I'll see all the folders. I have to cd into data folder. Again, I'll type ls. I can see the file postgres.config sql.conf. So let me just create a backup of this first so that if I mess up anything, I can revert my changes. This is a good practice. Okay, now let me open this file, Postgres configuration. I'll use vi command to enter the vi mode. Now I press I to enter the insert mode. Now you can see I'm in insert mode. I'll scroll down to find the listen address command. Here we can see it is written listen address localhost. So let me first uncomment it and update it with star. Okay, Now I'll type escape to come out of the insert mode. Yes. Now to save and exit, I'll type colon WQ. You can see it here, and I can, and I'll press enter. Fine. Next configuration changes. I have to update this pghva.conf file to allow all IP to be authorized. So we'll add this line there. So to allow all IP to be authorized. Let me go back to my console. You can see this file right here, pg_hva.conf. Again, I'll make a backup of this. I'll open this file. I'll press I to go inside the insert mode. I'll try to find the addresses. Yes, here I can see them. So just below this, let me go at the last, at the end of this, and I'll press enter. Now let me copy that command, that line. I can type that as well. Okay. Now the indentation should be correct. So you can either type or you can copy and paste. Now I'll press escape and I'll save and exit. Just to confirm, let me view that changes by typing cat command. Yes, our changes are right here. Okay. Okay. To make these changes come in effect, I have to restart my PostgreSQL database. For that, I'll have to copy this command and paste in my terminal. But before that, I'll have to come out of my Postgres user. So I'll type exit. Now I am in my EC2 user. Then I'll paste this command. This command will work only if I'm in my EC2 user. Otherwise, it will not work. It will give some error. Okay, our PostgreSQL is restarted. Let me check the status of it by using this command, the restart the status command. Here we can see it is running from last 11 seconds. I'll type Control C. Now, all right. Now I have to update the security group of AWS to allow 5432 port. Basically, we will add this rule in the inbound roles of the security group. Let me go to my instances. Here I can see in the security tab, the security group. So this was the security group launch wizard one that was created when when I created this EC2 instance. Here in the inbound rule, we can see the port 22 is already added. So I'll click here. I'll click on add rule. I'll search for PostgreSQL and it will add 5432 automatically in the port range. Then I'll select anywhere from IPv4. I'll click on save rules. I'll give it around 10 seconds to make the configurations. Then I'll move back to my dbeaver and try again the test connection. This time we can see we are getting a connection successful message. That means we are successfully connected to our database deployed in EC2. I'll click on OK. I'll click on finish. This database is connected successfully. Let me open it. Currently, it is a blank database. It is this database Postgres, you can see, and our default schema, public schema is also created. There are no table inside it. We can create our new schemas or we can create a new table here as well as per our requirement. Let me know, not get into it right now. So we have tested the connection in dbeaver. Now I'll show you how to test it, how to connect this database through the Spring Boot. So for that, I have already created a Spring Boot application. So I'll have to add few configurations inside it. Basically, this 4 lines, I'll add it in my application.properties file of Spring Boot application. Here, I have to specify my EC2 public IP that I can copy from my EC2. And my database name is Postgres. My password is root as of now. Also, I have to add few dependencies in my pom.xml. Let me add those dependencies and test it. For that, I'll just clean and install. Now let me run it. Here we can see our app is up and running and the database is connected. So in this video, I've shown you from the scratch how to install a database on EC2 instance and connect to it through dbeaver or Spring Boot outside AWS. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and check out my other videos for more tech tips and tutorials.